If you are over 45 and you care about your heart, let me ask you a question. What if one simple habit a few times a week could quietly lower your triglycerides, support a steadier heartbeat, and even help you recover better from exercise as you get older? I am talking about omega-3 fatty acids, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to use them safely and realistically without falling for the hype. So let's start with the basics. When people say omega-3 says, for heart health, they are usually talking about three main fatty acids. The first two are EPA and DHA. These are the long-chain omega-3s that come mainly from fatty fish and seafood like salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, trout, anchovies, and also from algae. Your heart muscle, your brain, your eyes, your blood vessels, they all use EPA and DHA as building blocks in cell membranes and in signaling. They help keep those cells more flexible and responsive. The third one is ALA, alpha-linolenic acid. That is the plant omega-3 you get from things like flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, and some plant oils. ALA is still useful, but here is the key point that many people never hear. Your body only converts a small portion of ALA into EPA and an even smaller portion into DHA. We are talking low percentages. So plant omega-3s are great, but they do not replace fish omega-3s one-to-one. In my opinion, the simplest way to think about it is this. Plant omega-3s are a nice foundation. EPA and DHA from fish or algae are the main therapeutic tools for the heart. Now, what are these omega-3s actually doing for your heart in real life, not just on a lab chart? First, omega-3s help lower triglycerides, a quiet blood fat risk that often rises with age, weight gain, and high sugar intake. Second, omega-3s seem to support a steadier heart rhythm, but very high supplement doses may slightly raise atrial fibrillation risk in some people. Third, omega-3s can modestly lower blood pressure by a few points, acting as a gentle helper alongside lifestyle changes and any needed medication. Fourth, omega-3s help stabilize artery plaque and calm inflammation by changing the fats in your cell membranes, leading to more controlled signals in your blood vessels and immune system. Now, what is realistic in terms of improvements and timeline? If you start from a low fish, low omega-3 diet, and you add in 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week or a well-dosed supplement, most people can expect to see changes in blood lipids within about 6 to 12 weeks. That might include lower triglycerides and sometimes a small improvement in HDL, the so-called good cholesterol. Blood pressure and inflammation markers often shift more slowly. Think months, not days. And the effect depends heavily on the rest of your lifestyle. What you eat most of the time, your weight, your movement, your sleep, and your medications all matter. Omega-3s are an important piece of the puzzle, but they are not a magic bullet. So the big practical question is, should you focus on food, supplements, or both? Most heart organizations recommend that adults eat fish, especially fatty fish, at least twice a week. A serving is roughly 3 to 4 ounces cooked, about the size of a deck of cards or the palm of your hand. Supplements make more sense if you rarely eat fish, if you have a documented high triglyceride problem, or if you and your clinician are targeting a specific EPA and DHA intake. For general heart support in someone without major heart disease, many experts recommend around 250 to 500 milligrams per day of combined EPA and DHA as a reasonable intake, usually from food. For people with high triglycerides or existing cardiovascular disease, prescription doses can go much higher, often 2 to 4 grams per day, but that should always be under medical supervision, not a do-it-yourself experiment. If you decide to use a supplement, label reading is crucial. On the front of the bottle, you will often see something like 1,000 milligrams fish oil. That number is the total oil in the capsule, not the active EPA plus DHA. When you flip the bottle around to the supplement facts, you might see EPA 180 milligrams and DHA 120 milligrams. That is only 300 milligrams of actual omega-3s per capsule. So if your goal is around 500 to 1,000 milligrams of EPA plus DHA per day for general heart support, you might actually need 2 or 3 of those capsules, not 1. This is one of the biggest myths. People think think every 1000 milligrams soft gel gives 1000 milligrams of omega-3. It does not. You will also see different forms listed, like ethyl ester or triglyceride. Triglyceride and reesterified triglyceride forms may have slightly better absorption in some studies, especially when taken with a meal that contains fat. Ethyl ester forms are very common in prescription products. In real life, as long as you take them with food, the form probably matters less than the actual dose and your consistency. In my opinion, people overcomplicate the form and then forget to take the supplement regularly. Let's talk safety, because this is where I really want you to be cautious if you are over 45 and on medications. Omega-3s are generally quite safe at moderate intakes. Common mild side effects are things like fishy aftertaste, mild nausea, loose stools, or a bit of stomach upset. Usually these improve if you take the capsules with food, start with a lower dose, or split your total into 2 or 3 smaller servings throughout the day. However, there are people who should definitely talk to their clinician before starting or increasing an omega-3 supplement. If you are on blood thinners or antiplatelet drugs like warfarin, apixaban, rivaroxaban, or clopidogrel, high doses of omega-3 can increase bleeding risk. If you have a history of significant arrhythmia, especially atrial fibrillation, very high-dose supplements might slightly increase the risk of episodes in some people. If you have an upcoming surgery or procedure, many surgeons prefer that high-dose fish oil be paused ahead of time, similar to how they manage other blood-thinning agents. If you have diabetes and are on medication for blood sugar, there can be small interactions with lipids and glucose metabolism that your clinician may want to monitor. And of course, if you have fish or shellfish allergies, standard fish oil may not be safe for you at all. In that situation, algae-based omega-3 supplements are typically preferred, but I would still involve an allergist or a physician. If you are a vegetarian or a vegan, you are probably not eating fish at all. You can still get ALA from flax, chia, hemp seeds, and walnuts, which is great. But because conversion to EPA and DHA is limited, it can be smart to add an algae-based omega-3 supplement that provides direct EPA and DHA. Many vegan products offer something like 250 to 500 milligrams per capsule. You can think about similar daily totals to what we talked about for fish oil, but again, it is worth checking in with your clinician, especially if you are on medications. Now let's quickly bust a few myths. Myth 1: all fish have high mercury. Not true. Many of the best omega-3 sources, like salmon, sardines, anchovies, and herring, are low in mercury and safe for regular weekly intake when eaten in normal portions. Myth 2: any 1000 milligram fish oil soft gel delivers 1000 milligram omega-3s. As we said earlier, 1000 milligrams is the total oil. The EPA plus DHA might only be 300 milligrams. Always read the back of the label and add up EPA and DHA. Myth 3: plant ALA replaces fish EPA and DHA 1-to-1. Your body can convert some ALA into EPA and DHA, but the conversion rate is low. Plant omega-3s are healthy and worth including, but they are not a perfect replacement for direct EPA and DHA from fish or algae. Myth 4: more milligrams always equals better results. There is a point where you move from helpful to potentially risky, especially in terms of bleeding and atrial fibrillation at very high prescription doses. More is not always better. The right dose for you depends on your risk factors, medications, and goals. Myth 5: fish oil goes bad only if it smells really fishy. Some rancidity can be masked by lemon or other flavorings. A strong sour or paint-like odor is a red flag, but a pleasant flavor does not guarantee freshness. That is why storage, expiration dates, and quality testing matter, and that's it. I have also made a video on how to reverse hair fall, especially if you're older. Watch this video next.